Hello, America. How are you? Welcome into the Mountain Studios. This is 5 and 15, and I am your show host, Frank Martin. As you know, 5 and 15 is a show that highlights all we do here at the network in 15 minutes. It's quick, like that pregnancy of Jessica Simpson. Is it over yet? We can go on. All right, here's what we're going to talk about on today's show. Here's what's on today's menu. Our top story is this. Well, this is it, folks. The final hype-worthy regular season showdown in the history of the Mountain West Sports Network. Now, we made a pitch for the Yankees-Red Sox, and I even threw in an ultimatum. I said, get the rights or I'm going to walk. Unfortunately, or fortunately for you, NBC was quite partial to the me walking option. So I took that off the table, and we settled for TCU New Mexico. It's a pretty good 1B, in my opinion. We'll call it that, 1B. That's because the Lobos and Horned Frogs have been battling for the top spot in the Mountain West all season long. Right, Mark?
Mark, we've got about 3 more weekends left to play before we get to the conference tournament in Las Vegas. And from really the start of this race to this point, it has been New Mexico and TCU. Does either team at this point in the season have an edge?
Well, right now, New Mexico probably has an edge. They have the big series this weekend between the two of them. If New Mexico can just win 2 out of 3, they pretty much salt things away. As you see, they play this weekend. It's at TCU. The Horned Frogs are a game behind, really need to sweep this series this weekend.
In addition to the Lobo Horned Frog showdown, we've got a few more options for you on the network this weekend. On Mountain 2, just kidding, there's only one mountain. There's a series between the Rebels and Aztecs. UNLV takes on the surging San Diego State team in a 3-game set that starts on Friday at 7 p.m., finishes up on Sunday at 2. Now, regardless of how the TCU-UNM series turns out this weekend, we'll get to hear from Ray Birmingham at the end of it. As New Mexico's head coach proved once again this week, that's never a bad thing.
It's crazy to me when you've had so much success helping kids that they won't buy in right away. But sometimes it's like a girl's hairdo. They think it looks pretty and it don't.
We're going to miss Ray Birmingham very, very much. Well, now, another thing I know you will miss about the Mountain is that we provided expert analysis on the topics you really cared about, as was the case this past week concerning the NFL Draft. Now, as most of you know, Boise State legend Kellen Moore went undrafted. Boo. Well, he eventually signed with the Detroit Lions. Now, our analysts tackled the situation in a segment ripped from the headlines. Here's Ted Sundquist on point.
The biggest story, though, has to be who wasn't drafted, and that's Kellen Moore, the winningest quarterback in college football history. Why didn't he get a call during the draft?
And Kellen, to be quite honest with you, over the course of the evaluation process, didn't perform very well. He's not going to get any taller, we know that, and he'll be the first one to tell you that. But then he goes through the combine, and he goes through the various attribute tests, throwing the football and whatnot, and probably looked, fairly pedestrian when it comes to his comparison to the other bigger, stronger quarterbacks. But here's the deal, and this is exciting for Kellen Moore. As you look at 2 deep rosters in the National Football League and how they're made up, 36% of quarterbacks come from the first round. So obviously, if you're a team that needs a quarterback and you're trying to find a potential starter, that's where you go. And those are the guys that everybody wants. After that, the number one source of 2 deep rosters for quarterbacks, and that's over the last 3 seasons, college free agents. So Kellen Moore's chances of making a football team are actually percentage-wise higher than if he had been drafted in the 2nd round.
Stories and analysis like the one you just saw right now are what you'll see every night on the Mountain Sports Report. New episodes of the MSR air 5 nights a week. Please check your local listings for the next airing of MSR. Now, we've got some more combine-type news for you. Seems kicking the tires on Kellen Moore wasn't all we asked our analysts to do last week. After we taped our draft review show, we asked Reggie and Ted to stick around and take a look at another intriguing Mountain West prospect. Who are we kidding? It was Brett Brown. Here's a sample of a story that will run next week in the Mountain Sports Report.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, that kid looks good.
Whoa. All right. I got my watch.
Okay, time him.
We're already past 5 seconds.
Yeah, you turn off.
2 guys after 5 seconds.
He only ran 37 yards, and he coasted the last 3. Who does he think he is? Usain Bolt?
Yeah, well, I'm going to mark him down on conditioning because he's got a stitch in his side. Whoa!
Why would you wear flip-flops to a workout?
3 cone.
I mean, is he a professional skateboarder? I mean, what are those Vans?
If this is the future of Wyoming football, the Cowboys are in a whole lot of hurt.
Yeah. If they offer him a scholarship, there's going to be an NCAA investigation because he is related to somebody high up in the school.
Hey, good news for all you fans of that dynamic duo. Ted and Reggie will be on Around the Mountain this week. Also joining Bill Dolman will be Denver Sports Talk radio host Mike Evans. Topics include a look back at the NFL draft and, among other things, stuff pertinent to the Mountain West. Around the Mountain debuts Wednesdays at 7:30. Now let's talk a little bit more about Reggie Rivers. Great guy, and you know he works for us. He also works for another Denver TV station, and he also played for the Denver Broncos. Turns out we know a lot about him, or do we? Do we know everything? No, that's impossible. Until you watch this clip. Okay, we're joined now by Reggie Rivers. He's going to be a studio analyst for the Mountain this year. This is just a little Q&A with Reggie. You're an author, an accomplished author. 5 books you've written so far.
That's true.
You're a football player.
Well, that's true. Some people just know me as the fumbler, but I don't always fumble. I mean, sometimes I hold on to the ball successfully. But yeah, I've written 5 books. It's been my passion ever since I was a kid. My mom was a librarian. Spent a lot of time in libraries, and so I wrote my first book back in 1994. It was a biography about Vance Johnson called The Vance, The Beginning and the End, and then wrote my 5th book a couple of years ago, an allegory. And an allegory, I know you don't understand.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
It's a long analogy.
Oh.
Yeah, it's an allegory.
I'll have to look up analogy later.
Right.
A couple questions here, quick off the top. Are you a crier?
No.
No?
No.
Last movie you cried at?
You know what's funny? I say that I'm not a crier, but I have an 8-year-old son. Mm-hmm. And it is amazing to me how much now I'm sort of becoming a crier, because I watch some movie or even sometimes a commercial. If it's something sad that involves a kid, then I see my son in that situation, and it makes me like, that can't happen to him. I can't let it happen to him.
What's something that people don't know about Bill Dolman or Marius Payton?
Oh boy, you don't know how short they are. I mean, they look like normal-sized human beings, but then you see them, and they're like, one is 5'1" and the other one is 5'2". It's just, I'll let you decide which one's taller. I can't even tell sometimes. Like a couple of Oompa Loompas.
I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed it because, Reggie's a real car. Genuine article. The Spanish have a word for him. El hombre. Look that up. We'll be back after this. Did you know that 1/4 of the world's population lives on less than $200 a year? That's encouraging for people who are going to be unemployed in a couple months or a month or whatever. But what about those who are about to strike it rich? Yeah, I'm talking about college graduates, people. With lucrative jobs waiting for them, student athletes are graduating in more than just sports. What? Recession? I don't even know what a recession is. Is that like when you play kickball? No? But my mom told me my college degree would amount to she lied? Ouch. All right, let's find something else to take our mind off reality. How about the lush green grass of the Omni Resort in Tucson, Arizona? Well, that's where the Men's Golf Championship will be held this weekend. Here's a preview from our preview show.
Got to ask you this. Are the Rebels the team to beat in the conference championships?
Yes, we're the team to beat in the conference championship.
So let me ask you this then. How much noise can the Rebels make in the conference championships and even beyond? And I'm talking NCAAs right now.
I feel like we can go all the way. I mean, first we got to get to the NCAAs, but I feel like once we get there, we have a lot of good vibe for match play. Blake's a tough guy, and Kevin's really tough. And I don't know. I feel like we can make some noise.
Well, the ratings you can always throw out of the window as soon as the championship starts. However, you do have a strong team in UNLV. You've got some seasoned veterans with San Diego State, and obviously New Mexico is a very strong team. The three of them have, when they've been playing one another, they've been beating each other up a little bit. So I think those 3 teams will be the keys.
And remember, San Diego State was able to hold off TCU on a late charge last year.
The Men's Golf Championship Review Show will debut on May 10th at 7 p.m. Set your DVRs now. Don't want to miss it. We'll recap 3 rounds from Omni, plus introduce you to the men's coach and golfer of the year. It's the Mountain West Men's Golf Championship Review Show, only on the Mountain. All right, this past weekend, the paradise known as San Diego played host to the Mountain West Tennis Championships. Our crew brought back some amazing action from what turned out to be a very competitive tournament. Here's a clip from the Tennis Championships Review Show.
New Mexico entered the match knowing its number 66 national ranking was not going to be good enough for them to make it to the postseason, so they had to beat the Aztecs to have a chance. Well, the old saying goes that any team can beat any other team on any given day. And on this day, the home team fell victim to a hot and motivated New Mexico squad.
We just got a call from the Attorney Surgeon General. It says that pregnant women should not watch that video. Could go into premature labor. Just kidding. I wonder if that's what the disco era was like. You know, you shake your head back and forth to bad music. Anyways, the Mountain West Tennis Championship Review Show, if I haven't sold you already, debuts later tonight, May 2nd. The show can be seen in its entirety for the next few weeks. Log on to the MTN.TV and click on the schedule tab to find the next time the review show airs where you live. Now, our final clip goes out to all the happily married couples out there. Remember that weekend when you guys both got tennis elbow? Remember when you said 40 love and she giggled? Remember how pleased she was with your ground strokes? Oh, wait, you don't remember that? Well, then you're going to be just as confused by this innuendo-laden interview with Boise State tennis coach Greg Patton as Bill Dolman was.
Then in the singles, Boise State had the quick 2-set wins at the number 5, 4, and 6 spots to give the 4-0 sweep and move to the final.
We're one step away from it. I mean, right now we're celebrating on basically at the bachelor party. We still haven't gone to the altar, and we still haven't gotten that ring. And so we need to make sure that we take care of business. Tomorrow, I'll make sure we put the tuxedo on and make sure that we get there on time and that we don't blow it and that there's nobody back there saying that they object to the wedding.
What is he talking about? In the other semifinal, it's tennis. Don't leave a guy on the roof in the mattress, right?
Well, as Bob Barker once said, don't forget to spay and neuter your animals. It's prom season. Sir, it's time to go. What are you doing here?